therapist and founder of confidentchildren.co.uk. So what causes selective mutism? It was previously thought that these children must have experienced some kind of traumatic event which caused them to become mute, but we now know that this is not the case. Children who have experienced a traumatic event show very different symptoms and behaviours to children with selective mutism. Instead, children with selective mutism are born with a predisposition for the condition, so they're naturally born with these characteristics like sensitivity, like perfectionism, and this may or may not lead to selective mutism. It leads to selective mutism if there is a trigger in their environment which causes the selective mutism to develop. The trigger may be an event such as the death of a loved one, which the child is unequipped to deal with at such a young age, and this may cause them extreme anxiety. However, it may also be separation from the primary caregiver, from the mother, for example. So the simple situation of the child going to nursery for the child can be very traumatic. They're being separated from the person who they've spent their whole life with. So this in itself can lead to the selective mutism developing within the child. Now, I'm not suggesting that the child should never go to nursery. However, if the child has this natural predisposition to anxiety, or if they're very sensitive, for example, then they'll cope a lot better with this big event in their life if the process is very gradual. So, for example, if their attachment figure, such as the mother, spends time with them in nursery initially and then gradually phases out. Now, I have mentioned that these children can be very sensitive. So another trigger can be if somebody laughs at them or makes fun of them. So this will make them feel inadequate and they may close up and be unable to speak in front of this person. To give you another example and to put this into perspective, the majority of children will find starting nursery for the first time very anxiety inducing, and many children will be unable to speak to the nursery nurse, for example, straight away. However, as we've discussed, the situation is even more scary for the child with selective mutism. So as the weeks go on and the other children are starting to feel more comfortable and speaking, and that child with selective mutism still hasn't spoken, the other children in the class often start to label that child as not talking. So they may say, Laura doesn't talk, or Laura can't speak. Now, this makes the situation even harder for the child with selective mutism to overcome, because they now have this label and it leads to a self-fulfilling prophecy. So they start to live up to that label. And when we're given a label, it's very hard, especially for a 3, 4, 5-year-old child, to overcome. There are many factors which might be causing the selective mutism to continue. Selective mutism is a phobia of speaking. If a lot of attention is drawn to the lack of speaking, then this can heighten that child's anxiety. If the child is forced to speak, this can also heighten their anxiety. So all these factors actually make the situation a lot worse. So our aim is to remove all pressure for the child to speak and to just focus on the child having fun. The ironic thing is that once this pressure has been removed, once the child feels relaxed, they're in a far stronger position to speak. Please watch my video called The Do's and Don'ts When Interacting with a Child with Selective Mutism for more information on how to interact with a child with selective mutism for them to feel more comfortable. I hope that was helpful. Please like the Confident Children Facebook page to stay up to date with my work. The link to that is below this video. Have a lovely day.